Renny, thanks for talking with me real quick. I know Wendy is going to come join us in just a moment.
Yes, she will.
She just gave a really brilliant presentation to a packed house. Can you tell me, what is your role with Coca-Cola? Why are you here today?
So I head up interactive strategy globally for Wieden+Kennedy, and Coca-Cola is one of our most beloved of clients. And I have the pleasure of working with Wendy and the Coke team on the incubator that we've had going now for a little while in Portland. So today we had an opportunity to talk a little bit about what the objectives for that program were and what some learnings were from it.
Well, tell us just a little bit more about that.
So Pi was started as a collaborative space with technologists and brands, and the opportunity was specifically what we were talking about here is trying to find a way to align brands with disruptors, with the people who are going to ultimately be disrupting all of our businesses, and see whether or not there were interesting ways to align what they were trying to do and what the brands were trying to do in ways that hadn't been done yet. So that was the objective.
Any surprises that you've encountered yet?
One of the interesting things has been that while many brands and even Wieden+Kennedy talk about innovation a lot, there really isn't sort of a lot of consistency or agreement as to what exactly that means. So right down to the language, how do you recognize innovation? How do you assess innovation? What are the criteria you're using to determine where you want to move? How do you buy innovation? How do you implement innovation? How do you scale innovation? And how do you put a bullet through innovation that isn't working? So there's that whole thing was one not surprise, but challenge, and an interesting challenge, and one of the reasons why the brands have gotten involved in this. I think the second thing that's been particularly interesting is in addition to an alignment on language, there's an alignment on life cycle. That's not an immediately apparent thing, that startups are at different points in their cycle, from fundraising to idea generation to propagation, and brands are at different points in their communication life cycle. And so finding where those things map is incredibly exciting and at times challenging, but makes it all worth it.
Right. And you can't be sentimental about it, it sounds like. Now, I know we can't boil this all down into a couple of
right now.
my brands and my ideas. Well, I know we can't boil this down into one best practice, but Wieden+Kennedy is a very trusted organization. You've got some great brands, and you've consistently been able to push some trend-setting ideas.
Wow.
In my opinion, I would like to say.
Thank you. Is there like a...
So can you tell me, not a best practice, but a philosophy? What is on your mind every day when you go to work?
What is on my mind every day when I go to work? Well, I think there's a wall that kind of summarizes the philosophy that I really appreciate, which is this whole notion of failing harder. And what I tried to say as well, because it's one thing to say it, it's very easy to dismiss it. I think a lot of people think that failing means you can be an idiot, and I don't think that's what it means at all. I think you have to be very intelligent, especially now with limited budgets and fragmentation. You have to be pretty specific about where you want to be and what you want to do and how you want to fail. I think that's it, is making sure that you're failing in the right way, or figuring out quickly how to fail in the right way.
That you can respond quickly and you can find out what's working that way. Great.
Because I'll just throw one thing and then I'll get the heck out of the way. Is people talk about it in the institution of learning, and they talk about institutionalized learning, and I think what actually institutionalized learning is institutionalized failure in a good way. It's like you've learned what not to do, and so you're moving along. And if people just sort of embrace that, like, hey, it's actually okay to fail. Like, we've learned from it and we've moved along, so now we don't have to fail the same way again. That's what I've been noticing about a lot of the startups, is they're very, very good at tracking their fails and learning from them and moving. So that would be the one.
Well, we need to talk again next time about how to set the culture of where that's okay.
Yes,
so
let's do that.
I love it, Renny. Thank you so much.